Hey everyone, it's D here, back at another episode of DEETOUR. And today's episode is about an experience I had a few weeks ago at this event that our young friend Casey Adams, this ambitious young 18, maybe 19-year-old guy, and he's built this incredible business, and he's really created an environment for young people to kind of get exposed to entrepreneurs, to people like myself. But I really wanted to talk about the concept of being young. As I got older, I always took the effort to be around young people, learn from young people. And one of the things I love about them is the blind ambition, the ability to block out, and almost the naiveness of knowing that you can't fail is such a powerful and beautiful thing. And as you get older, you kind of, because you know how hard things are, and it's so hard to realize that there is failure in front of you and there are challenges ahead, you kind of lose that energy and ambition. And today's episode is just talking about that and how important it is to have that mindset all throughout your life as you get older, as you experience hardship, but to always surround yourself with that if you want to keep that momentum. Here we go. Hello everybody, welcome to DEETOUR. And today I wanted to talk about my last weekend. And last weekend I went out to Scottsdale, Arizona to an event called Build Your Empire, hosted by an 18-year-old guy named Casey Adams. And what I wanted to talk about today was the difference in mentality of an 18-year-old and say my peers. I'm 38, so I'm 20 years older than Casey. And I got to meet so many young people that day from ages from like 18 to 25. And what I noticed was I forgot what I used to have, which is just blind ambition, blind faith, the ability to think I'm invincible. And I feel when I'm around young people, they don't think about all the consequences. They just go after things. And it's interesting because as you get older, maybe because of struggles and failures and just a sense of how hard it is to accomplish something, you become more cynical, you become a little bitter, and you lose that like ambition and that excitement about starting something, whether it's a business, a relationship, life, and everything kind of feels difficult or a big uphill climb. And I always wondered how I maintained my ability to always have this like youthful energy. And I think the biggest thing is that I always have surrounded myself with young energy. There are people my age who, as simple as stuff like music or television shows, and goes, oh, I don't know what's going on in music. I don't know what's going on in television. And I'm like, it's not that hard. Between social media, of just being a little bit of aware, following the right accounts, reading about the right things, and then asking young people, what are you listening to? Having that general curiosity can completely change your perspective of what you're looking at and what you're thinking about. And I think as you get older, for whatever reason, we lose that ability, or we get lazy and we don't want to do those things. And so I really think that today I want to focus on how do you maintain that thirst for knowledge and that curiosity when you get older. Because when I was with these kids today, the questions they were asking me and the thoughts they were having was something I always had when I was younger. And as I got older, pieces of it chipped away every single time. And like, they weren't even thinking about failing. Granted, when you're 19 years old, you don't have a family, you don't have financial responsibilities like a 38-year-old married person with a child does. But that sense of like eagerness and excitement, and really even I was telling some of the kids like, no, I actually don't think this makes sense. They're like, that's interesting. Let me go try something else. And they would literally come back 15 minutes later and be like, what do you think about this? That excitement and that willingness to figure anything out is so valuable. How do we maintain that as we get older? And I think it's a couple things, like I said. Really take the time and effort to be around young people. you know, I'm fortunate because of what I do in fashion. It's a youth driven business. So young people decide the style, the fashion, the music, all those types of things. So it's easy for me to always be around that. But as I get older, that's not as easy because maybe they stay out late. Maybe I can't go to the concert. Maybe I can't attend every event that, you know, those types of people are. But social media is such an easy angle, like following the right accounts. And I was thinking about what accounts really have a good sense of youth culture across many spectrums. I think Complex, for fun stuff, World Star Hip Hop, The Shade Room, Daily Mail does a good job. Barstool Sports, I think from a guy's perspective, is super interesting. I think, you know, on the women's side, there's a ton of stuff. A lot of great fashion accounts and fashion influencers, I think, keep you informed of what's going on. Like Revolve and all of their influencers, no brainer, keeps you really on the cutting edge of everything from fashion to beauty. And then on music end, it's so easy. Spotify and Apple Music literally have playlists, New Music Friday, that literally is all the new music. You need to follow those things. It'll quickly give you a sense of what's happening in music. And then even if you're not into rap or you're not into country, you're not into pop music, whatever you are into, there are playlists for those things. And if you're curious and you want to know what's happening in hip hop or country or pop, download those playlists, listen to the music every once in a while, expand your horizons. It's the same thing with traveling. If you don't go and travel the world and see and experience different cultures, you have a bias in the way you think. And when it comes to having that enthusiasm of a young person, I think you need to consume content of a young person. Think about what TV shows they watch, what books they are reading. And I guarantee you that'll change the way you look at your business, you look at your personal life. You know, you always see, I'll meet older people in their 50s and 60s, and they have this youthful energy about them. They're still going to Coachella, they're still running marathons, they're eating healthier than ever. Like, what drove them to that lifestyle? And why not be young? It's the greatest thing in the world is being young. It's the one thing you can't buy is time. So why not embrace it? And even though we get older, why not think about ways that our mind can still remain young? Because a lot of these things, if you start thinking you're old, then you start acting old, and then you start acting lazy, and then you don't have fresh ideas anymore, and then you're not innovative anymore. Then you're not happy at your job. If you're not happy at your job, you're not happy in your personal life, and then your family suffers. It's such a chain reaction, and having that like energy and that positivity, it's kind of one of the reasons why this is super interesting. I don't watch horror shows, horror films, anything that's dark. I don't watch Ozarks. I don't watch Breaking Bad. I don't watch anything that's negative, because I'm a true believer that if you constantly consume content that has a negative energy, you eventually become that. My personal experience is 10 years ago, maybe 15 years ago, I was listening to an Eminem album every day on a drive to work, and I became super angry. And I couldn't even understand why. I was working in Malibu at this awesome internship, and I was like, well, how am I angry? And I realized it was the music. Eminem was just so damn angry that it was making me angry. And so it all kind of correlates the same way. It's the content you consume, the people you surround yourself with, eventually makes up your mindset. And I highly encourage being around young people and consuming the content of young people purely to make yourself happier, because that energy is so awesome. A young person's energy is naive, it's innocent, and it's something we should have for the rest of our life. Just because we got older and we experienced some hardship, I don't understand the concept of giving up that energy. So do yourself a favor, download the New Music Friday Spotify playlist. Go follow some of these fun accounts. Go to a concert with a bunch of young people, and instead of being angry and be like, I can't relate to these people, and sounding like a grandpa or grandma, embrace it, enjoy it, jump up and down, have a good time. Guarantee you it's fun.